time to Omega Education, where we say everything English language. So you're about taking the SSC for AY, Coneco. Also, this is a wonderful platform to learn the English language and ace the exam. Don't forget, if you fail the English language, which I know is not your portion, did I hear big amen there? Great. You will have to write the exams again. So it's very important you pass the English language to a greater level, okay? And that's why you're on the channel. And if you're not subscribed yet, do that now. There is a subscription button below this video. Tap on it. And don't forget to hit on the notification bell so you get notified when no video pops up. Today, we shall be looking at the grammatical functions of words. Last class we did the grammatical name, and I guess it was a delight anyways. I'll be right back. Okay, I welcome you one time to Omega Education, where we say everything English language. My name remains Maxwell. Today I'll be talking about the grammatical functions of words. Last class, I remember vividly, we talked about grammatical names, and I said carefully that the moment you hear grammatical names, you think of three things: the noun clause or noun phrase, as the case might be, adjective, adjective phrase or adjective clause, adverb, adverbial phrase or adverbial clause. So those are basically the grammatical name that you can easily hear for every word that is underlined. Today, you'll be getting the second part. Remember I said the grammatical name takes 2 points, the grammatical function 1 point. So what are expected of what? Rather, what is expected of you when it comes to grammatical function? Note carefully. The moment you have a noun phrase or noun clause, the function must either be subject or object of the verb or the sentence. Just simple as that. So the moment you underline, or probably come across an underlined word, and you're very sure the grammatical name is a noun, or a noun phrase, a noun clause, you should just know at the back of your mind that the function will either be the subject or the object. Did I hear a quick guess there? Hold it there. A subject is the performer of the action, the doer of the action, mostly seen at the beginning of a sentence. The object is the receiver, the person mostly governed at the end of the sentence there. So if I have something like Peter slapped the girl, Peter slapped the girl, Peter that did the action, it becomes the subject. The girl received the slap, it becomes the object. Clear? Good. So moving on, once I get an underlined statement and I know it's at the beginning, I'll say, oh, this is the subject of the sentence. But if I have it at the end, I'll say this is the object of the sentence. Moving on quickly. Adjective, adjective phrase, adjective clause must perform just one action, and that is to qualify the noun before it. So the moment you get a word underlined and you're very sure it is an adjective phrase, an adjective clause, you should just know carefully it must qualify the noun before it. It has no other job it does. It qualifies the noun. And you have to state the noun in your response. So you don't just say it qualifies the noun. You have to tell us what noun, or rather which noun in the construction of a sentence it qualifies. Before I move on quickly, let's get in Daddy Omega to give us the tips for this class. I'll be right back. Rolling out. Welcome one more time to Daddy Omega section. In Daddy Omega section today, we'll be talking about desk and table. What is the big difference between a desk and a table? You hear a lot of people talk about, oh, I want to buy a desk, or have a table in my office. No, it's a table in my house, not a desk in my house. What is the difference between a desk and a table? Quickly. They're both pieces of furniture, okay? So you definitely do not have to work on the configuration to know this is a desk or a table, okay? 2, we basically use them for a variety of activities. So it is the activity that determines if you're having a desk or a table. Let's take for instance, if you're working on probably a piece of furniture probably making up your assignments, you're writing, and suddenly your mom or probably your guardian calls on you and say, okay, Junior, your food is ready now. You should come and eat. And you say, Mommy, I'm sorry. Can I have the food here, please? I'm working. I can leave my work now. And Mommy says, okay, don't worry, I'll bring the food to you. Now, the mommy works close to you. The moment the mommy gets closer to you, what do? You push away all materials you've been writing with. That is your textbook, your writing material, your notepad, your pen, your pencils. You shove everything aside, and your mommy places the food right on a piece of furniture before you, and you begin to eat. At that very moment, that piece of furniture changes from what it used to be to a new nomenclature. Careful, let's look at this now. When you were writing on it, you were doing some official job or probably some formal activities on it. It was a desk then. The moment you shove everything up and you put your food on it, it becomes a table. Did I catch somebody there? So there is no big difference between a desk and a table. The major difference is what you do with it. Now you learn something. See you next time. Bye-bye. Okay, I guess that was a great time with Daddy Omega, and you learned a little about the decks on the table. Okay, great. Okay, moving on to the next part here will be to look at the adverbial phrase, adverbial clause, and how they can connect our grammatical function there. So the moment you're very sure that the word that has been underlined is an adverbial, either a phrase or clause, you need to be very clear about its function. It does one job just like the adjective. It modifies the verb of the sentence. So you need to understand the verb, where the position of the verb is, and how you can connect. A sentence could be made out of a compound material, meaning you have two simple sentences making up their construction there. So if the sentence is underlined in the first clause, that means the first clause modifies the verb in the other clause. Meaning if I have two clauses, BC slapped the man, Peter kicked the goat. So I have slapped and kicked in these two sentences. So if the first sentence is underlined, it implies that it is a verb in the second sentence it will modify. So the verb that is underlined cannot modify itself. I guess that's clear enough there. Let's look at some questions and see how we can break this down like Michael Jackson. I'll be right back. Okay, welcome one more time, and today we have a few questions that we can analyze to get our grammatical functions from. Quickly, I'll start off with the first one, that the man sold the car. The man sold the car, okay? And what is the line there is the man. And if you look at it carefully here, our keyword here is the man, but we have two words. So since we have noun as our keyword there, and we have two words, obviously to be a noun phrase. That would be the grammatical name. Then the function, like I said earlier on, will either be subject or object. And I said subject at the beginning, object at the end. So since it's at the beginning here, we'll say this will be the subject of the sentence. Okay. Become the subject of the sentence because we have it at the very beginning there. Question 2 says the people loved that house. Okay, so we have that house at the end here, and the keyword we have there is house, and house is a noun. Good. Since we have two words there, obviously it's going to be a phrase. In this case, now the grammatical name will be a noun phrase. Good. And if you look at it carefully there, it's at the end. So it will no longer be a subject, it becomes the objects of their sentence. Clear? Good. Objects of their sentence. Now looking at the third sentence there, the girl whose mother died is sad. Remember we have the word there, whose mother died, underlined there. Now we're asking ourselves, whose mother died? And the girl there is a noun. So these items on the line is telling us more about the noun. Quick guess, something rings a bell there. When a word, a group of words, describes a noun, that word or group of words represents the adjective. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3. 3 words there. So we cannot just say adjective, we say adjectival, phrasal clause. We're getting there. Now we have died. Since there's a verb there, it will no longer be a phrase, but it becomes a clause. So we can have our answer at number 3. It becomes a modify the noun. What's the noun there? Girl. Remember I told you, if you're writing out your answers, make sure you're very sure about the noun you're referring to. Don't just say it modifies the noun, you leave it there. You need to be very sure about which noun there adjectival clause is modifying. Lastly, let's look at our last sentence here. Children like it when it rains. Okay, when it rains is underlined here. So this implies that we're referring to a time factor here, because when we introduce the time, and these will mean they're referring to an adverb. Okay, now we have 1, 2, 3. 3 words. Once you have 3 words, it can no longer be an adverb. It will either be adverbial phrase, quick guess, adverbial clause. So the next one will be, do we have a verb there? Yes, we have verb there, rains. Okay, so once we have rains there, that's a verb there. So obviously this would be an adverbial clause because there's a verb there. The function would be it modifies the verb. Remember I told you, once you have 2 verbs, the verb that is not underlined will be the verb that is being modified. Since we have this underlined here, which is rain, it means this will now modify this. For instance, if this was underlined, then it will modify that. Okay, so since this is underlined there, the answer would be modify the verb like. Remember, once you're stating verb or noun, you have to, in a way, explain which verb you're referring to or which noun you're referring to. Now you have it, grammatical name and grammatical function. It is very easy once you understand where you're heading, what name you're giving to it, the function naturally will just pan out. In my next video, I'll be treating 10 years of SSC questions for both NECO and WIDE and how the grammatical structure questions are being related. I'll be giving you in-depth analysis and explanation to these grammatical structures, how to write out your answers on the answer sheet, and get your score in full dose. Don't forget, you can only get the video when it pops up only if you subscribe. So if you have not done that now, quickly go below this video and hit on the subscription button so you get notified when a new video pops up. Get ready, fasten your seatbelt, and let's have a roller coaster ride. I remain yours sincerely, Maxwell, and this is Omega Education. See you next time. Bye-bye.